Well, this is Father Francesco. I'm just recording briefly something because we are preparing for the ordinations tomorrow morning with the Pope. So it's a bit of a mess, a lot of things with the seminarians. Well, greetings to you all. Um, I just want to say something on these groups to support brothers and sisters who are in need of help because they are falling into the trap of an addiction. A few years ago, when these groups were started by Gianna at the invitation of Father Mario, uh, we were looking mainly to the situation of people um becoming addicted to pornography. Uh, but the reality is that there are many addictions that are connected to each other. These groups are offered to the brothers in the way, uh, not as the only solution, not as something that is the only way to be helped, but as a possibility. A catechist may want to suggest to people to contact these groups, to contact the telephone number of Gianna or of a person that you will appoint there in Uganda as a reference person that can put you in contact with these groups. What are these groups? The possibility of asking for help. A person who falls into the trap of addiction needs the possibility of coming out of himself, of speaking, of asking for help. For these groups to be useful and helpful, one needs to have discovered that he cannot solve the problem by himself. He needs the help of somebody else, somebody greater than him. That is the group, first of all, but in the end is God himself. We need his help. We need the help of the other people that God inspires to help us. The group is first of all a possibility of calling other people, saying, look, I am in a difficult moment. I am feeling tempted. I am about to fall again and again because addictions are like a trap. This is an illness. It's something that starts affecting our brain. Uh, One falls once, and after twice, and after three times, and already the brain get used to this sort of fake pleasure. It's a pleasure of a moment. It's a pleasure of a few instants, but becomes our brain and our will becomes weaker and weaker. Is what the church calls a vice. The church always says and said in her history, a sin is forgiven, but a vice needs to be also corrected, not simply forgiven. It's not a question of going to confession and say, I have fallen into this. It's true. You need forgiveness. You need the help of the grace of God, first of all. But after, you need somebody to help you to come out of this habit. It becomes a habit. If you see a sort of X-ray, a magnetic resonance of a brain, of the brain of a person that has fallen into an addiction, is damaged. It's like a person that takes heroin or cocaine. There are certain centers of the brain that are those we use to say no to decide to exercise our will that have become damaged. And so we need somebody to help us to fight how? To fight by surrendering, in a sense. A person, first of all, needs to learn to surrender, to say, look, I know that by myself I cannot make it. I cannot come out of this. But I would like, with God's help, only for today, to remain sober, abstinent, not to fall into this sin again, day after day. Let us not think of tomorrow, next year, next month, today. I want to be. And this is the first mechanism of these groups. Who can be in these groups? All those who are falling into this trap of addiction and those who know that they cannot continue like that they need to come out because people, their situation is becoming impossible, unbearable. They cannot lead a normal life. And if someone really knows this, he will be willing to participate, take part into these groups that are groups by audio, by an audio call on internet using this program Signal that it guarantees anonymity in the group. Person doesn't need to say who he is, doesn't need to give his name or her name, can use any nickname he wants, and but he has a place where other people can listen to him, share experiences to him, and each group has a sponsor, each person has a sponsor that will help him or her to go through several stages. Stages, first of all, of acknowledging his situation, the need he has of help, discovering how his behavior is affecting others, and start taking action in order to make amend for what he's doing, etc. It is the famous 12 steps of Alcoholic Anonymous. Well, this, I mean, my role into this is just to help Gianna to make sure that this instrument is put at the service of the brothers of the way in a way that does not uh, enter into conflict with anything of the way. Brothers need the community, need to continue to walk, need the word of God. There they receive the grace to want to fight against this vice in which they are fallen. But they also need the support of the group because the mechanism is, first of all, I feel tempted, I feel attracted by opening the computer and searching for some movie or some images or some whatever. Well, I call someone, I take my phone and I say, look, I cannot make it. I want to surrender. I am very weak. I know that if I remain by myself, I will fall. I need someone to listen to me, to encourage me. And this is the first thing in the groups. And continuing this fight day after day is a fight of surrendering, is a fight of acknowledging our weakness, but that there is someone stronger than us, that is God who wants to help us. And through the others of the group, that are people who have experienced what sort of hell it is to be in these things and are willing to help you and listen to your call, to encourage you, to speak with you and lead you, the sponsor will lead you to all these different steps. Okay, just to say, encourage you to profit of this experience. It's important for the catechists to uh, propose this to those that they see are falling into this trap of addiction. And after, not simply drop them there and say, okay, the group will take care of you, but to ask the brothers to come back to them and say, how is it going? Are they finding this useful? Maybe a person doesn't find that the group is good for him. Okay, it will be necessary to look for another way, for another instrument. But you cannot abandon the person. The group, Gianna or whoever, will not be able to go back to the catechist and say, well, Job, look, is well, is doing well. No, because they don't know his name, they don't know who the catechists are. There is anonymity in the group. That's why the catechist, to send someone to the group, need to keep in contact with him or her and say, well, how is it going? Not every day, not in a obsessive way, giving space, but from time to time saying, okay, are you okay? Is it helping you? Are you continuing with the community? Are you continuing with the group? Or see what the person tells them. And another thing that sometimes people ask is, what are we going to do with the young people, with the adolescent, with the teenagers? Well, I mean, we have seen that these groups don't work too well with the teenagers, also because there are lots of problems of privacy, of consent by the parents because they are minors and all these things. With them, it's possible maybe to find someone that we can suggest as a psychologist or some, a one-to-one relationship. But the greatest thing is prevention, is to help young people to to close the door in front of all this uh, attraction, this trap of internet through the mobile phone, through all these things. And it's very important for the parents to be aware that this is a very serious problem for young people today. I would say for minors, we have to move more in that direction. For adults, I mean, we have seen this as being a helpful experience. And we encourage you to try, maybe to look there also there in Uganda for some people who can be a sort of point of reference for catechists, for people who need help, and these people could put those who are in need, put them in contact with Gianna so that they may follow this experience. Uh, I would say just this and encourage you to take this opportunity. It's also this, an instrument that God is offering us as a support. eh? Uh, when this problem of addiction to various things, substances or behaviors, is really becoming a serious burden for someone. And I can guarantee you it is. It is a very serious burden. And we may slowly, with a lot of patience, this is not a question of a few weeks, not even a few months. We are speaking of years in order to recover slowly, to start being sober also from pornography, sober from shopping, compulsive shopping, from gambling, from online games with money and all these sort of things that can really become a slavery for many people. And with a lot of humility and patience, and really saying, I really cannot go on like this anymore. I need to be helped. I need help. And I'm ready to seek help. to spend the time for this, to be faithful to these meetings that I need in order to come out of this trap. Uh, Courage, courage. This is something that can be a gift, a gift of God's mercy for many people who need to experience freedom again, recover slowly, knowing their weakness, that maybe certain wounds will remain, but it's possible, being humble and close to God, it's possible to come out of this trap. Thank you. May God bless you.